We are starting on page 35. We're going to start with number 13. We are just going to review what we've done the past few days. So I need to graph this, but it's in standard form, and so I need to change it to slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is subtract my x. And remember, when we rewrite it, I'm going to write negative 2y equals, I have to write the negative 1x first, then plus 8. Next, I'm going to divide everybody by negative 2. So I get y equals 1 over 2x minus 4. So that's my final answer. Now I got to graph it. So we always go down on the y line to negative 4. That's where I'm going to start. I rise 1 and I run 2 to the right since it's positive. And there's my line. Okay, so that should be a review. So I would like for you to do number 14 yourself. When you are done with that, we're going to talk about vertical and horizontal lines. All right, a vertical line is a line that goes up and down, and the equation for a vertical line is always x equals wherever it is. So if I look, this line right here is on, let me highlight it for you. So we're talking about this red line right here. In a minute, we'll talk about this one over here. Okay, that red line, it started at x is negative 1. And then we go up and down with the x lines, which is opposite of what you think it should be. And the slope is always undefined. So this next one, this line started right here. So that would be on the y line. It started at 3. And when it's a straight across, it has a slope of 0. So I would like for you to use that information to graph number 15, 16, and 17. Remember, if it's a y, your line is going to end up going side to side. And if it's an x, your line's going to end up going up or down. When you're done, flip over to the next page. Okay, this is page 36. We're just going to kind of put everything we know together. So it wants to know if these lines are parallel, same slope, perpendicular, opposite reciprocal, or neither. So the slope for this line is a 5, and the slope for the next line is a 5. Those are the same, so those lines are parallel. The slope for this line is 3 over 2. The slope for this line is negative 3 over 2 and positive 2 over 3. Well, one's positive, one's negative, and they've been flipped, so these guys would be perpendicular. I have a problem with number 20. I can't look at the slope until I have it in y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to subtract the x. 2y equals negative 1x plus 2. Divide everybody by 2. Y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 1. So that's my first line. My second line, I'm going to subtract 6x, if my pen would write. Negative 3y equals negative 6x plus 21. Divide by negative 3. Y equals 2x minus 7. So let's look at my slopes. I've got the negative 1/2 here, and I got a 2 here. Well, the purple one's negative, the red one's positive. And if I wrote like that, it's been flipped. So this These guys are perpendicular. I would like for you to do number 21 on your own. Good news is we know the slope of the second line is a 1/1 because we're smart like that. So we got that slope, but you are going to have to take this one, change it into y = mx plus b to get the slope to be able to compare and know whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So do 21. When you're done with that, we'll flip over to the next page. All right, this is page 39. We're going to start unit 3.7, and we're going to do point slope formula. This is just another formula we're going to use. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So whenever we write this, we are just going to copy it down, and the only thing we're going to change is what I've colored in green. So let me explain that. So I've got a point, x1, y1, and I've got a slope, which we know is m. y1 equals m x minus x1. So instead of y1, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to write the 1 up here because that's what y1 is. Instead of the m, I'm going to write a 2 because that's what the m is. And instead of the x1, I'm going to write a 4 because that's what the x is. So now I just have to solve it. Y minus 1 equals 2x minus 8 plus 1. Y equals 2x minus 7. And then I could graph that. So I like the point slope formula. I think it's easier. I want to show you number 4. So x1, y1, this is my m. Y minus, the y1 is a -1. Instead of writing minus negative, just turn that into a big plus. Equals -3/4, because that's my m, x minus -8. Two negatives make a positive. So we start by distributing. Y plus 1 equals -3/4x minus 8 times 3 is 24, divided by 4 is 6. I'm going to subtract 1. Y equals -3/4x minus 7. And that's our final answer. So follow those examples. I would like for you to do number 2 on your own. You'll just plug in the information in the problem into the highlighted section. So you'll plug in that, and that, and then you'll solve it like I solved mine. So do number 2. Number 5 is going to be very similar, except we're going to have to use a different formula first. We need to figure out the m before we can do point slope formula. Wow. It's an x. It's lame. Okay, so y2, that's a -1, minus y1 is a 7, divided by y2, x2 is a 1, minus -3. We have done this before. I get -8/4, which equals -2. So now I have an x1 and a y1, and I have my m to work with. I'm going to plug it in. Y minus y1 is a 7 up there in green equals m is -2. x minus negative 3. Two negatives make a positive. Y minus 7 equals negative 2x minus 6. Oops. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. All right, so I want you to do number 6, and you're going to have to use your slope formula first, and then point slope to get all these letters and numbers where they need to go. All right, on this page, we're going to start at number 9. So write an equation for a line that is parallel to y equals 2x plus 4 and passes through the point negative 4, negative 1. So this is my x1 and y1, so I'm going to label that. And if it's parallel, it means that is going to be its slope. So all I want you to do is just write the equation out. You do not have to solve it. Y minus negative 1, which I'm going to make a plus, equals, m is a 2, x minus negative 4. There we go. That's my equation I would solve if I wanted to solve it. This one I worked out for you already. I have my x1 and my y1 right here. And I have my slope right here. Y minus negative 1, that's a plus, equals, slope is 1/3 x minus x1. I want you to write the slope-intercept formula in number 11. I've already worked out the problem. All right, number 12 is the same way. I've got my x1 and my y1. And I have a slope, but I want the perpendicular line. That means I have to change my slope. I've got to make it negative, and I have to flip it. So that's the slope I need to use. So y minus negative 3, that's plus, equals negative 4/3, new slope, x minus 3. Flip over to page 41. All right, on number 13, I've got my x1 and my y1, and it wants a perpendicular slope. So that's my slope right now, negative 1/1. If I flip it, it stays a 1/1, but I got to make it positive. So it will be y minus 3, it's y1, equals 1/1, x minus 7. I want you to use the information I've given you in number 14 to write an equation for a perpendicular line. When you are done with that, I am done with you. Thank you.